Hello kids, welcome back to another segment of Scratch. I still may remain your Scratch tutor, Ijoma. So for this section, we'll be looking at animation, Scratch animation. We did a little bit of it in our previous class where we did Scratch basics in our Easter Kids Coding Fest. But for this particular section, we'll be looking at advanced Scratch animation. You're going to learn everything about animating in Scratch. Okay, so before we will start, we're going to do a recap from what we did in our previous class. Okay, so today we'll be looking at our Scratch recap. Okay, so now we'll begin. I'm going to reintroduce Scratch. So by the end of this our recap, for those of you that missed the class, we're going to be looking at what kids will learn today. We're going to learn Scratch interface and blocks. That's the meaning of Scratch. I'll introduce you to Scratch interface and the blocks too. That's in our block palette. Then we'll be looking at game design basics and variable, loops and conditional, creativity, logic and problem solving. These are exactly the things we treated in our first class. Okay, so now let's begin. What is Scratch? Scratch is a block-based programming. You can call it a computer programming language meant for kids, where you can create your games, animations, stories with the use of colorful blocks. In Scratch, you don't have to code. You don't need all those stressful codes. All you have to do is to drag and assemble blocks, okay, to create whatsoever you want. And our blocks are designed in a puzzle-like way. Okay, all you have to do is drag and drop. You merge them, you assemble them in your script area to create whatever you want to create. All right. You can also see Scratch as your Lego blocks. You know, your Lego blocks are used in building structures, used in creating houses. Those are your blocks. They look like that. Okay. But then in Scratch, you'll be programming, you'll be creating things, stories, animation, and games. You are not going to be building. Okay. So now, let's see the next thing we have. All right, understanding Scratch interface. For this particular one, we have so many tools. Okay, the Scratch interface is made up of so many areas. I'll be deviating to Scratch. That will be going to our Scratch interface. Then I will reintroduce you to all the interfaces there. Okay, ranging from stage, sprites, blocks, script area, and others. So now let's go to Scratch. Let me show you what I mean. Okay, all right. Here is it. For those of you that don't know how you can locate that don't have the application or you don't know how to download it, you just open your browser and then you type in, let me show you. You open up your browser. I'm using my Chrome browser, and then you type in Scratch. You type in scratch.mit.edu. Okay, and then you enter. When you enter, you're going to see this interface. All right, you see Scratch, create, explore, idea, about. All right, so if you don't have an account already, you click on join Scratch. When you click on join Scratch, you create your own account, and when you click on sign in case you already have an account, then you sign into your account. All right, so then you click on create. You can actually use the Scratch website without having an account, but it's okay to have an account there so that all your projects will be saved, and you also explore and see what others are doing. Okay, so once you click on create, it's going to open up the Scratch interface for you to use. Let's wait for mine. It's still loading. It's still loading, so let's wait. All right, creating project. All right, here is our Scratch interface. I just opened up another one, and here is the one I'm using because I already have an account there, so you can go on and create your own account. So now, here is, this place is called our stage. Okay, Here is our stage. This is where all your characters display, where you see what you're creating. Okay, and this is called the sprite. This cat is always here. It's a default cat, but when you don't want to use it in your project, you can delete it and then you choose another sprite, which I'll still show you how you can choose your sprite, create your own, choose a backdrop. Okay, and here is our script area. This is your script area where you assemble blocks. Okay, this is where you drag blocks, assemble them here to create whatsoever you want. All right, you see how I'm joining them. That's how you merge your blocks in Scratch. All right, and this area is called the block palette. You call it the block palette. Okay, the block palette is made up of motion, looks, sounds, events, controls, sensing, operators, variables, and my block. And we also have the extensions, okay, which we are still going to look at in the future. All right, so this motion, this is how you use this particular block to make your cat move. Okay, when you want to make it move, shake, or do a kind of thing, you know the meaning of motion, right? You add action to it. So you use this particular block. You come here and choose the block according to what you want to create. As we move further, most of you already know what most of these blocks are for. But as we go further in our classes, you will know what they are used for. All right. So the looks, this block, they are purple in color. Can you see? So you use it to change the look of your sprite, like change costume. When you want to change the color or how it looks like, you use it to change it. Then because in Scratch, our sprites have so many costumes. All right. Then sounds, you use it to add sounds to your project. So the events block are used to make things happen. Okay, when you want to play your project, you can use the event blocks. Like, for example, now, let me use the when green flag. Let's click, I drag and drop, right? So I'll go to my motion. Motion is to create movement, okay? All right, so when I click on the green flag, this will happen. My sprite will move 10 steps, okay? You see that? You see that? So that's the function of the event blocks. So controls, you use them to control what's happening in your project, like timing. Wait 1 second, you use it to control the timing of your project, to slow it down or to speed it up. Okay. Then sensing blocks, like touching mouse pointer, touching color. These are the things we did in the previous class. So you go and watch the videos in case you missed out. Okay. So you use this particular block to dictate when your sprite touches a particular color. Okay, green, red, any color at all. You can change the color once you click on this place. You use the eyedropper to pick the color, or you choose the color you want. Okay, so that's it for sensing. Okay, then operators, you use it to do, let's say if you want to do mathematical calculation, use it to compare things while creating your project. In your project, you use it, like we have the greater than signs, the less than block, the equal to block. Okay, these are the blocks you use while creating your project. Okay, so we have our variables. Variable is like a box where you store your information. You can create your own variable. All right, you can use it to create games. We use these blocks to create games mostly, and you can use it in your stories, animation, depending on whatever you want to create. You may be needing a variable. Okay, like in our which game did we create the last time? In our catching game, we created a variable that kept record of our score while we are playing our games, right? So we have my block. My block, this where you create your own blocks. Okay, click on my block to create your own block. Can you see? I clicked on it and then it got me to this place. It said block name. You can add a name here. All right, you click here. We have different shapes. You know, our scratch block looks like puzzle. You see, it looks like puzzle. So that's it for my block. We also have block extension. You see, these are block palette extensions, right? We used up the pen block extension in our last project. All right, so now let's go to our slide to see the next thing we have there. Okay, we have movement basics. That's use blocks like move 10 steps and go to X and Y. That's our motion blocks, which I just introduced you to. Then we have the learn about coordinate system, the X and the Y coordinates, whereas the X coordinate is the left and right part of your screen, while the Y coordinate is the up and down part of your screen. So let me show you. So here, this is where you can find your coordinates. Okay, here's your stage. Okay, the upper part of this stage and the down part is your Y coordinates. Okay, up and down. When you want your sprite to move from down to up or from up to down, this is the Y coordinate. So from the right side to the left side of your stage is your X coordinate. Okay, so you can find all these coordinates in your motion blocks. When you are coding, you want your sprite to take a particular position, like here now, you see this particular position is the -127 of the X coordinate, while the Y coordinate is at the -90, as you can see. Okay, and then you may want to know what is sprite. Sprite, these are characters that you use in your projects. Okay, there may be objects or characters. All right, so here is where you can locate your sprite, because we have different sprites in our Scratch library. So you click on choose a sprite. You can choose a sprite from the sprite library. You can search. When you click on search, to lead you to the sprite library. Then paint, that's when you want to create your own. Okay, you click there, there's a price, and then we have the upload. You can upload from your computer, you can upload online, save it to your computer, and then you upload it here, you use it in case you don't want to use any sprite that is in your sprite library, or the particular one you want to use for a project is not there. You can download it and then upload it to your Scratch. Okay, so now I'm going to click on the sprite icon. There you go. Here is our sprite library, ranging from animals, people, fantasy, dance, music, sports, food, fashion, and letters. Okay, and when you click on animals, you see all the animals we have in our sprite library. You see them. Can you see we have a lot of them, and most of them have so many costumes. We have people. You see, these are the people sprites. You see, we have a lot of them. And then we have fantasy. You see that, like when you want to create your fairy tale story, fairy tale animation, you can come here to your fantasy and then you find the sprites that is suitable for your project. Then we'll have the dance. Okay, we have the dancing sprites. Can you see, as I'm hovering my mouse, you see they're displaying their dance moves. Can you see that? That's, we call it changing of costumes and sprites. You see that. All right, and we have music. All right, here you can see all the music instruments that you can possibly find, ranging from Belgium. We have microphone, keyboard, guitar. Okay, so that's it. And then for sports, you can get your football, your basketball, your tennis ball, anything sports at all. So when you want to create a project and the project is related to sports, you can come to your sports to choose sprite for your project. Then we'll have food. Can you see we have a lot of things here. From fruits, we have fruits, we have bread, cake, you see donuts. So when you want to add a food sprite to your project, you come to food, you click on food, and then you see all the food sprites that we have in our sprite library. And then for fashion, you see we have clothes, glasses. Can you see shirts, sunglasses, winter hats, wizard hats? Okay, these are the different fashion you can find in our sprite library. And then we also have letters. You see, we have letters of different color. Can you see? So when you want to add letters to your project, you come to this place and you grab your blocks. Okay. So now, this is how you can choose. I didn't show you. Oh, to choose a sprite, you have to click on it. Once you click on it, the sprite will be there on your stage. Like here is Abby. I'm going to click on Abby to choose her for my project. You see, she should be here. All right, Abby is right here. Can you see? So this is our stage where you see all the sprite that you've chosen for a project. All right. So if I don't want to use any sprite on my stage, I can delete it. You click on this delete icon and then you delete. I'm going to delete Abby and I will be leaving my default path because I don't want to use Abby. All right, Abby is gone. So to create a sprite, you click on your sprite icon. You hover, you don't click this time around. You hover on it to get this drop down. Then you click on paint. Okay, when you click on paint, you can draw any sprite of your choice. So I'm going to briefly demonstrate what I mean. Okay, here in our paint we have the select tool, we have the reshape tool, we have the brush, we have the eraser, we have the fill, the text, the line, the circle, and then the rectangle tool. Okay, now I'm going to click on the rectangle tool. If you want to use any one, you have to click on it. I'm going to use it. All right, and I just drew a rectangle. Now I want to expand my rectangle. Can you see that I just expanded it? Okay, I can as well change the color. So to change the color, you come to your fill, you click there, change it to white. That's how you change color. Okay, color of your sprite. So now I want to demonstrate something. Let's draw okay, let me draw just a sprite. For example, this is how you can draw. I'm going to use my circle. As you can see, I just drew a circle. Now I'm going to add the body. Okay, so I want to use the line to get the body of my sprite. Okay, see, I'm drawing a sprite. You see that? So I'm going to give it a hand. Let's create the hand. Can as well make the hand. Here's the hand. Here's the hand. And then the leg. So this is just me demonstrating to you how you can draw your own sprite. So now I want to change the position of the leg because I don't like the way the leg is looking. So I will click on my select, then I'll click on the particular one I want to. It's highlighted already. So now I'm going to make the leg. Can you see what I'm doing? I'm changing the position of the leg. Now I want to click on the down part, but it's clicking. I don't know why. Oh, they are together, that's why. So I'll just go on and leave it this way. Then I'll select the head and I'll place it properly. So you can as well give it eyes and the mouth. So I'll draw tiny circle for the eye. Can you see? Tiny circle for the eye. Right here is the eyes. Then you can also choose to draw the mouth. Alright, here's the mouth. And then my sprite is ready. So for this sprite, you can add anything to it. You can make it move or do anything to it. See, I want it to move from here to here. So to do that, I'll get my when green flag is clicked. I'll get my move 10 steps. Move 10 steps. It's going to move. Can you see? It's moving. It's moving. Do you know why it's moving together? Because I drew the backdrop. I drew a backdrop. I'm supposed to draw only the sprite, so it won't be doing this. Or I choose a backdrop. So that will lead us to backdrop. Now we are done with our sprite. So this is our backdrop. In sprite, our backdrop is known as the background. What you know as background. So when you want to create a project and you want to add a background, you go to your backdrop. In Scratch, you call it backdrops. So you come to your backdrop library where I'm hovering my mouse. Okay, you click on it, and then it will open up the backdrop library. Here's our backdrop library, just like our sprite library, ranging from fantasy, music. Okay, let me clicking on it. Fantasy, music, can you see? Sports, outdoors, indoors, space, underwater, pattern. So you can just choose anyone for your project. I may decide to choose the hearts for my backdrop. It's supposed to be here, but alright. Can you see? I'll go to my costume and I'll highlight this sprite backdrop that I drew, and I'm going to delete it, leaving only my sprite. Can you see? Now it's visible. You see, here's our backdrop. We now have a backdrop. Okay, here's our handmade sprite, and here is our default cat, the scratch sprite. Okay, so now you can as well draw a backdrop, just as we did with our sprites. To draw a backdrop, you hover your mouse on the backdrop icon, and then you select paint. It's similar to the sprite one, so if you can do the sprite, you can as well do this one. Okay, so you can draw. Can you see? You can draw anything at all. You follow it, follow your backdrop. Okay, let me say red. You see, that's a backdrop. You can add any other thing. You can make it a room. Okay, you can make it a room. I'll click on my select, and I'm going to duplicate. Click on select, and then you duplicate. You duplicate by doing a copy and paste, and then you bring it down. We change the color. Remember how we can change color? Come to your fill and change the color. You see, and then I might choose to add a window. Like this is the rug, this is the wall, and you may choose to add a window. Oh no. Okay, now let's add a window. Select your rectangle, go to your fill, and then which color are we going to use for our window? We'll just use yellow. Can you see? Then to make it look more like a window, you can demarcate it with the line. Okay, you can demarcate it. You see. Don't mind my drawing. My drawing may not be beautiful, but while drawing your own, you try to beautify it. Okay, just showing you how you can do it. So that's it. It's now looking like a window. You see, it's now looking like someone's indoor. So this is how you can draw your backdrop. In case you don't want to use the one in our Scratch backdrop library. Okay, so now we'll go back to our slide to see the next thing we have there. We are done with our sprite, backdrop, and Scratch interface. Now you know what Scratch is, how to use what all the Scratch interface does, their function, and then how to use your backdrop and how to use your sprite, and also the block palettes, what their functions are. So now we'll move to the next thing. So the next thing we have here is scratch sprite and colors costume. I didn't talk about the costume, so now let's go back to sprite. Let me show you the costume. You go to your sprite library. Okay, this is what we call costume. Costume is when your sprite is displaying. They are made up of different costumes. It's the looks. Those costumes are the looks that the sprites are made up of. Okay, like now you see the way Abby is doing her hand, like she's showing this love sign as a costume. You see, most of them don't have a costume. You see, the ball have different costume. You have this color that is switching is called costume. Avery is walking, that's costume. You call it costume. Ballerina dancing is costumes. She's switching costumes, and it's not looking like an animation. Okay, like a dancing animation. Then the same thing with the balloon. The balloon have different costume. You see, the banana is not displaying anything because it doesn't have a costume. So this is what we call sprite costumes. Costumes in Scratch. Right. So now we'll go back again and see the next thing. Events and animation. Events and animation. These are your event blocks that I've already introduced you to. Events like when green flag is clicked. It trigger actions. I just show you how you can use your green flags to make a sprite move, and then you use next costume for animation. You see when they are switching their colors, or different costume they are made up of. Then add sound on our sound blocks. You can use it to add sound to your project. So we have loops and repetition. The loops block can be found in the controls. I mentioned that when I was introducing you to the control blocks. So the next thing we have here is making sprites talk. Use the say block to show dialogues. Okay, it's like your speech bubble. It shows like a speech bubble. All right. Then we have the add timing with wait blocks, which I showed you the wait block when I introduced it to the controls. We have the help build storytelling skills in games. All right, the save block and the wait block, you can use it in your storytelling. Okay, so the next thing we have is the user input and sensing. The user input and sensing is the wait. You can use the act and wait block to achieve this. Your act and wait block can be found in your looks. Okay, and then we have our sensing blocks. It dictates if sprites are touching something or the mouse, which is the one I showed you from the sensing. Okay, then we have our variable blocks. I already introduced you to all these blocks. So a variable stores data like score, health, or name. Use set and change blocks to update it. Okay, and then like the project, the math quiz that we did, just as I've mentioned. Then simple maths in Scratch, that's the one we use our operators. Okay, use the operators blocks to add, subtract, and compare. And then we'll have combine with variables for score keeping or quizzes. Okay, and we'll have our conditionals. Our conditional block is the if then makes decision in code. Example, if score is equals to 10, show you win. You remember we used it in our Hungry Hunter game. In case you missed out that class, come watch it. We have the Hungry Hunter game project we created in our previous class. Okay, here is the basic AI with the if then else loop. Okay, you use if then else for smart decisions. You see, when you want it to dictate something, else if it's not like this, then this should happen. Okay, like if answer is correct, say good job, else say try again, like we did in our math quiz game. And then we'll have cloning sprites. We also learn how we can clone sprites. Create clone of myself copies a sprite. We use this in our dropping, is it our catch game? Yeah, I think our catch game or raindrop. Then he's great for games with repeating objects. Right, then we'll have the game building. We combine movement, scores, and loops. Project that we created with it is catch the falling star, and then he recorded our points. Then we did physics in Scratch. to emulate gravity by decreasing the y position over time. You understand it more better when you go through the videos. Okay, so we have adding sound. Use the sound blocks to play music or effects. That's the function of the sound block. You can use it to add background music to your, we have a lot of sound. Okay, let me take you to, let's go back to our Scratch interface. Let me introduce you to our sound block, because we have a lot of sounds there. So here is our sound block palette. You see, we have play sound, we have start sound, we have stop all sound, change pitch, set pitch, clear sound effect, change volume by 10, set volume. Everything about sounds is here. And to locate your sound library, you come here, the upper part of your block palette, you click on sounds. When you click on sound, you come down to this sound icon where my mouse is hovering. You click on it. All right, it's loading. There you go. We have a lot of sounds in our sound library. A whole lot of sounds. Can you see I'm still scrolling? I'm still scrolling, ranging from animal sounds to effect sound, loop sound, notes, execution. We have space, pause, voice, wacky, percussions. Percussions. All right. So that's it for our sound. In case you don't want to use any of the sound, you can as well upload the sound, okay, from your computer. You see, when you hover your mouse on each of the sound, it's going to display. So we have beautiful sounds here. All right, let's go back to our slide and then continue. So that's it for sounds. And that's it for our recap, because the last thing we did in our last class is adding sound to our game. If you can remember, we created the flying game where we added the background sound. We choose the sound from the loop, which you can remember very well. So in case you missed all those, try and watch all our YouTube videos and then you get updated. See you in our next class. Bye for now.